The dirty and callous hands of my people. My land of origin has made its mark until the world as a country which citizens serve other nations. From the generation of the past and the present, we have been known to the world as nannies to the kids, while our own children are left behind motherless, as caregivers to strangers, while their very own elders are left unattended, and as janitors to sweep the floors of a foreign land, while our very abode remains soiled with the solitude of a broken home. Hard and trying times are faced by the world today. Widespread recession and threats of terrorism. Even the world's powerful nations have been driven by fear and chaos. But in the very heart of the Orient where my nation is, the people quietly continue what they do best, being service to others. Indeed, we have been eyed. We have been mocked by the monarchs of the world, sitting on their tall towers as we continue harvesting what is to spare from the fields. We have been called the country of slaves, a country where citizens are slaves to foreign people in distant lands, and even slaves to foreign people in their very own land. We are slaves born and to die with dirty hands. If this is the reason to ridicule us, then let it be. My hands are dirty, but this doesn't mean I'm not wise. My hands are calloused, but this doesn't mean I lack skills and talent. My hands are dirty, but this doesn't mean I'm not rich in virtues that come rarely these days. My hands are calloused, because while the world sits and relaxes in the comfort of the present, I have toiled my way, making sure the future will not be easily shaken. I have toiled, yes, and too hard have toiled. I am proud of being a Filipino, and to that extent being Davaoeño, whose hands have been dirty from the very start. Why should I not be proud? Even in the tall offices where Filipinos work, their hands are soiled, not with corruption, but with good and hard labor. Now that the world is on the brink of losing what it holds most dearly, everybody panics. Everyone who sat relaxing all these times had their seats shaken hard that they may hit the ground, only to find out when they got up that they too have been covered with dirt. Who knew how to build a shipwreck by strong winds better than the ordinary crew? Is it okay then to be a slave? Well, the answer is yes and no. Yes, it is okay to be a slave, only if you are doing so that you may set yourself and the people whom you care to free from slavery. We belong to a noble race. I cannot deny myself being a Filipino to anyone because it shows. I am hospitable, admirably, raised in every grace, patterned into the solid mold of bravery, generosity, industriousness, and above all, humility. And all of these plus that fact that my hands are dirty easily point out that I'm a Filipino. The fathers and mothers way before us did well in being slaves that we may be free. We may not be to the world as the Americans that flew to the moon, or Greece with her brilliant thinkers, or even Japanese with technology to boast, but being nameless and faceless don't mean we're good for nothing. My fellow men, we have not lost our dignity as Filipinos when we came of service to the foreign men, but we will lose it finally when we do not free ourselves from the chains that we ourselves have bounded. I challenge this generation to have the burden of giving back to the country what it deserves and bring back the glory and prestige of being a Filipino. A cliche goes something like this. In nature, there are neither rewards nor punishments. There are only consequences. True to the very last word, it is a rule that applies to each and every one of us. Do we not know that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction? Have we been so blind as to call the destruction of nature progress? When did DENR transform itself to being the Department of the Extermination of Natural Resources? My fellow men, I am not jeopardizing our government. I have my hopes laid on their very shoulders. I would only just want to point out that while we recognize the importance of developing multiple skills, we must also bear in mind that these skills must be useful to the community we belong to. Our skills must lead us to progress. Our skills must make the future Filipino a better Philippines. A friend once told me, of all the apples that fell, only Newton asked why. I hope that you recognize the courage it takes to talk about these things when we have already desensitized ourselves from what is going on around us. My hands are dirty and calloused, and I'm not ashamed. These hands are soiled by the courage of Bonifacio, the wisdom of Rizal, the faith of Corazon, the humility of Magsaysay, and the strength and dedication and sacrifice of the hundreds upon thousands of nameless and faceless OFWs and the common citizens who always made sure that their voices are heard. My hands are dirty. I shall not stop to toil until the tree I planted bear a fruit. I dream of a fruit of true progress and a better home for those Filipinos who are yet to come. Join hands with me as we make this country a better nation for everyone.